Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to take lesson number 8 in this chapter. In this lesson, we are going to talk about equal parts. Do you think that we have to split any shape into two halves in order to have equal parts? That is what we are going to know in this lesson. Now we will start with page 748. So open page 748, okay? Now, let's read it together. The green rectangle is the whole. It can be divided into equal parts. So here I have a rectangle that I can divide into equal parts. And here comes my question. Should I only divide it into two halves? Is this the only option we have to have equal parts, or we have other options? Let's see together. Now in the first shape here we have a rectangle that is divided into how many parts? Two equal parts. As you can see that we have two equal parts, and each part is a half, right? So there are how many halves? Two halves, okay? Now let's move to the next one. Here this shape is a rectangle, and we divided it into three equal parts, which means we have 3/3. So when we divide any shape into three parts, it means we have thirds, okay? Now let's move to the last shape here. A rectangle is divided into how many parts? 4 parts. Excellent. And each part we call it fourth. So here we have how many fourth? 4/4. Excellent. So that means what? It means we don't have to split only the shape into two in order to have equal parts. We can split it into two, into three, or even into 4. Okay? So, now I need to ask you a question. Now, look at the different ways that the rectangle is divided into equal parts. How are the halves and the thirds different? Excellent! I can hear someone saying halves and thirds are both equal parts of a whole. Halves are two equal parts that make up the whole, which is the green rectangle here. And thirds are three equal parts that make a whole. Now I need to ask you another question. How does the word fourths tell you about the number of equal parts in the whole? The word fourth. Great, good job. This word has actually the word 4 in it. So we have here fourth, and we have the word 4 in it, which indicates how many equal parts? 4 equal parts. Good job, boys and girls. So now I need you to think with me about the question, the next one. It says, write how many equal parts that are in the whole. Write halves, thirds, and fourths to name the equal parts. So now we have to count how many equal parts and to write the name of the equal part, okay? Now, how can you decide if the equal parts are halves, thirds, or fourths of each whole? Let's revise it together before starting our question, answering our question. Now, When there are two equal parts, the whole is divided into halves. When there are three equal parts, the whole is divided into thirds. And when there are four equal parts, the whole is divided into fourths. Okay? So that's how we decide if the equal parts are halves, thirds, fourths. So now we will count the number of equal parts. Then after this, we will write the name of the equal part. So let's start with the first question here. Here I have a trapezoid that is divided into how many parts? Let's count together. 1, 2. So here we have two equal parts. And since we have two equal parts, that means we have halves, right? So let's move to the next one. Here we have the whole. It's the blue rectangle. And it's divided into how many parts? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3. 3 equal parts. Which means what? Thirds. Excellent. Now let's move to the next one. This one, number 3. Here I have a circle, right? And this circle is divided into how many equal parts? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here I have 4 equal parts. Good job, boys and girls. And what do we call this? We call the equal parts here fourths. Okay? Let's move to question number 4. The blue rectangle. Here, if you look back to question number 2, it's the same blue rectangle. Okay? I want you to think of something. Now, in number 4 here, we have how many equal parts in a rectangle? Let's count together first. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 equal parts, which means thirds, right? Okay. Now we have here in question number 2 and in question number 4, the blue rectangle, the same whole. But we have different ways in forming the thirds. So that means that we have different ways to split a shape or to divide a shape into equal parts, even if we are saying thirds. In question number 2 here, you can see how they created the thirds by those lines. They created like this, right? But in question number 4, they created the 3 thirds like this. So we have different ways in dividing a whole into equal parts. Now let's move to the next one. Question number 5. And at question number 5 here, how many equal parts do we have? Good job. We have 2 equal parts. And 2 equal parts means we have halves. Excellent. Good job, boys and girls. Now let's move to the last question in this page. We have here the orange rectangle as a whole. Now this orange rectangle is divided into equal parts. Let's count together. How many equal parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here we have 4 equal parts, which means fourths, okay? I think now you can feel it's so easy, right?